What is up, Gundam MSIA fans? Today I'm showing off the difference between a Japanese V2 Epyon and a V1 USA Gold Edition Epyon. And from the looks of it, I would say the Japanese V2 Epyon looks a lot better than the gold one. I mean, to be honest, I would prefer that it had the gold here because I just like the gold detail over the yellow. But looks wise, because of the small amount of panel lining, I think that me personally thinks that the V2 looks better as well. And it also has a lot more going for it than the USA version 1, such as like this thing can transform like this thing can like actually transform into its like jet form, but whether the V1 can't transform, which is actually a bit of a shame. And this has extra mobility in its joints, which I'm going to show later when I review both of the articulation. And as I said, it's got some small panel line. If I can like zoom in on certain parts there, as you can see on the cheek V parts, you can see there's a wee bit of panel line in there, and on the part of the figure of the shoulders as well, like the black lines. At the back of the figure on the right, you can see it has an extra joint on its leg than what it does on the left one, and this joint helps it to transform into the jet form and for just extra mobility for poses, such as stuff like, if I can show you the difference between the leg joints. So the leg can move like that in the V2, which is pretty good. Oh, I guess I can't balance that. But when you try to do it in this one, this is as far as it can go, sadly. But again, like the legs, like going all the way there isn't like a necessity, so it's not like a big L for the figure, to be honest. Another extra detail on the V2 is where the skirts are. There's an extra set of boosters at the bottom of the skirt, as you can see in the V2, but on the V1, no such thing, and that is one more extra detail that the V2 has over the V1, over transformation, extra boosters, and just looking a lot better with the panel lining. And as well, like, see the joints for this. It feels a lot nicer to like move this figure than what it does with this one. See, with this one, you can like move it around and like do all stuff like this, and it doesn't feel unnatural, like it's resisting against you. It doesn't feel like it's going to come off if you were to do stuff like this. But like, see this, see the arms, like that, like on the V1, they come off relatively easy if you like pull it to the side. If you pull it up and down, it won't come off. But the joints on the V1, especially, again, the arms, especially the arms, well, the legs are fine, it's just the arms. The joints on the arms on the V1 are really bad, and they can fall off very easily. But on the V2, you don't have that problem. And this is, again, why the V2 is just more superior to the V1 figure. Like this one, like if you like to pose a lot or play with the figures, doing stop motion animation, it would just be so much easier to work with this one than it is to work with the V1. Like, don't get me wrong, looks wise, it's very, 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 very similar to this. Again, the panel lining doesn't show up too often, like compared to this. Like, you have to kind of look quite properly for the panel lining, and doesn't like show it. I'm trying to think of the word here. It doesn't look too noticeable. That's the word. The panel lining in this doesn't look really noticeable to when you compare it to the V1. So like, it doesn't matter too much, the panel lining. But again, I always like panel lining, so I just prefer this, and I like the small detail that it brings to the figures. I will say this as well, the arm joints, this does have an extra joint in each arm compared to this one, but they look the same when you move them up. So I'll just show you quickly before I end the video. Like, if I do this, looks like there's more going on here. But like when I do this with this one, let's see, and like put it up sideways, it just looks the exact same, like joint, like angle wise where the arm's going. So again, like it looks the same to when you move it up. So I don't know, like joint wise it looks the same and it feels the same, but it looks cooler moving the arm more, and it feels better to move the arm more in this one. And this one again, it just feels like it's resisting more and will easily come off on the V1. But yeah guys, thanks for watching my Gundam MSIA video of reviewing the V2 Epyon Japanese version and the V1 USA Gold version. Both of them, both the figures are really good, but the V2 just outmatches the V1 tenfold. But the only issue is the V2 is quite hard to come by, and it's like a bit more expensive than the V1. So you'll be lucky to get your hands on the V2. The V1, the wing figures are just so easy to get. All the wing figures that isn't the Leos are really easy and not hard to get. So if you're wanting the Gundam collection, very easy. And also the Sandrock grunts are quite hard to get as well. I can't even remember the names of those things, but they're decent. They're quite hard to get. And the Tallgeese Free is also a bit harder to get as well. But the Leos are the blue Leo is the hardest thing to get in my opinion out of the wing set. If you were going for like a complete edition of the wing set, Epyon V1 not so much. Epyon V2 really difficult to get, and it would be really hard to get one at the right price because they're just so hard to track down. And it's quite funny, not a lot of people know about the V1 and V2, especially myself. For like the longest time ever, I did not know about the V2 wing figures, and then when I figured out about the V2 wing figures, I was like, wow, I need to throw away this guy and get myself one of these, because this just looks so much better, and the mobility for when I'm like doing stop motion animation or just like fiddling around with the figures is just so much easier, and the joints feel so much better as well. So overall, I prefer the V2. And again, thanks for watching the Gundam MSIA video of the V1 versus the V2, guys, and I hope you enjoyed the video. And please remember to like, comment, and subscribe, or both the V1 and V2 Epyons are going to come down and destroy you.